Well, I just think that what you're referring to is the fact that we now help more and more families, more and more parents where adult children, and when we say adult children, from, hey, 18 to 80, the adult children that the parents are now having to deal with because the parents are taking care of them. So
Yeah.
it's a whole range, but we now see this more, and I think that that's where you're going. In other words, and most importantly, if the parents want to do that, that's fine. It's just that all you're saying is it's better to be able to have things in legal terms, writing the way that parents want it to be, including there are many situations where we need to set up a trust for parents because adult children have addiction issues. So that happens more and more and more. We have to deal with that. And that's just one example. It goes from A to Z, like you're saying, but it's about the parents needing to be able to take care of adult children in one form or another. And as long as it is put in legal writing, it will at least be hopefully as smooth as it could possibly be.
I listen to Clark Howard, the consumer warrior, and he is every once in a while talks about what I consider to be some amazing stats about how many parents are still financially contributing to their adult children's day-to-day living experiences. I'm not talking about 20-year-olds. I'm talking about 40, 50, and 60-year-olds who mom and dad are still supporting
So
financially.
what are the stats? What did
It
Clark
was
Howard
something
say?
over 50%.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
yeah, and I don't know what the solution is or how we got there, but it seemed to be a fact of life.
Well, it for sure, what we know is it's fascinating to hear Clark Howard because he's on a national scope, and to share that type of statistics, which would be a national trend, because we know that in our little world here in Florida, Central Florida, and again, helping people all through Florida, I would certainly say that we mirror that. I would absolutely say that. So 50% of my clients, I would say that I just know that I deal with in my tiny little sample set, that 50% of those are the parents, again, are coming to me when they're doing their estate planning, and we are in some form or another handling this. But I have to say, for me, a majority of this is because of there's addiction issues, and or those adult children in some way, shape, or form are not wanting to work. Now, I will share this with you that I heard also through Clark Howard, and another stat. More, this is, these probably to some degree go hand in hand. More than ever in the last several years now, employers have fired more people than ever before because of not the work ethic,
Yeah.
and not working.
Mm-hmm.
So that is another stat that would mirror what Clark Howard is saying.
Well, the sometimes parents have very good, legitimate reasons as to why they're giving financial support to their adult kids. Sometimes it is simply enabling their adult children's behavior, and that is not serving anybody.
Correct.
And so keep that in mind. And we'll say at least one more thing about this, and that is that you and I agreed from the very get-go that we would never, ever, ever co-sign a loan for our kids, whether it's for a car or for college, and we would never, ever lend our kids money. We might give them money, but we're not going to loan them money. And we have abided by that, and I would 100% recommend that to any parent always, ever going forward.
Well, in other words, if you're going to give the adult children money, what you're saying is then you recognize it as a gift,
Yeah.
not as a loan.
Yeah.
That's all.
I
But
agree.
but again, I go back to there are many situations where we're talking about this is where, and I want to add this. So many times people say to me, "Well, as parents, it is we don't need a trust. We don't have quote a lot of money." I immediately want to dispel that myth and tell people when we're setting up a trust for people, it is has for me as an attorney, it has nothing to do with your what money you have. It has to do with family circumstances. That's why we're setting up a trust. It could be as simple as there's minor children involved, or here's what is also happening as a result of the adult children not wanting to work and or addiction issues, grandparents then are forced to set up a trust. Why? It goes back to the family, the situation that you have to set up, because if they want things to go directly to minor grandchildren, we have to do a trust.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's I'm having that more. They're bypassing then the kids and giving it directly to minor children, grandchildren.
All great reasons to use a trust. And by the way, when we talk about the word trust,